All right, greetings, everyone. Hope all of you are doing well within your space and time. So, this is going to be an interesting one because we're going to get deep into it. The recipe is not long, um, and the conversation itself, from my end, I don't think will be that long. But if there's any comments, questions, concerns, anything that you all just want to share, you're welcome to do that while we go along here. But it's about time many of you do know. Some of this is going to be redundant to some of you because many of you do know what has taken place over the years. Many of you were literally a part of it. You've seen people come in who literally had practically nothing, you can say, and then now they're on social media all the time, flaunting their cars and houses and everything else. Okay, so some of you have firsthand witnessed that. All right, some people have become, you know, famous, quote unquote. What some people consider famous, celebrities and things of this nature as well. It's been more than one person, um, and many of you know that as well. So this is more so not about them directly, but more so about the data that was gathered over the years and like what brought about some of that data. What does that data really say? And then how can many of you do that, but you would know the requirements for it? So let's go start from the beginning here. So, if it's anything too, as I'm going along here, because I'm trying to parse so much data in my head to make sure that everything is said the way it needs to be said. I did take some notes. But if anything that you all want me to elaborate a little bit more on that you will even know about that I may not have said, you're welcome to chime in and let me know that. So we're going back a few years now. Many of you know I've been doing this for a long time, as far as just into the sciences and STEM technology stuff, metaphysics stuff, and everything else. But at about 2018-ish or so, someone had came into the picture who pretty much wanted me to use my metaphysical knowledge to help them in a very specific way. Uh, and this was this wasn't the first person to ask help in that way, but this is one of the first people I would say who had first off an ego through the roof. So the ego was extreme, but also with that extreme ego, it did come with extreme talent. The person is talented. Okay, and let me say this: many of you heard me say on many occasions about pretty much about the evils or the disadvantages to ego, right? But ego is not necessarily a evil or a disadvantage to it in itself. Ego is required in many of the endeavors that we do, and so ego, we can say, is what. So when it comes to, let's say, you've been doing something for quite some time, you're very talented at what you do, and this, let's say, this role comes up, or this job, or this circumstance or challenge appears that's well beyond what you do, but in you looking at it, you confidently, this is not conceitedness, this is not cockiness. Typically those who are below a certain energetic level, they take confidence as being cocky and things of this nature, which is not. Okay, so when someone is playing, let's say, in the major leagues, it's just, yes, people, inferior people, those are the responses inferior people tend to give. Uh, so, so with that, um, ego is, so again, going back to that storyline there. One is outside of, let's say, of your direct skill set, but you're looking at it and you're like, know what, I can, I can do this. I got this kind of thing, right? And that's even in stories. Many times, that's how heroes are born. Um, the hero's journey in stories is unsurmountable odds. Most definitely, just looking at it clearly from this the observational perspective, you're like, there's no way this person can do that, but somehow, some way, they end up doing it anyway, right? And that makes us even more connected to the hero, and that's why many stories they actually have that because these stories are mimicking real life and what has taken place, um, uh, whether it be around us or in our own lives. So, and for those who never experienced that within your own life, then it's something to experience. You know what I'm saying? But with that, so ego is necessary for that. All right. And so it's the ego that tells you you can do something that observationally or even direct skill set would say that you cannot. Okay. It's ego that says you can. So ego is one of the requirements for this recipe in the sense that one understands is it's they really want something. Okay. And that want for everyone is different. um, Majority of people, which this will lead to even some different, just a different type of conversation that we could have here. But most people seek money and fame. Okay, like literally, it's almost like biblical. Okay, money and fame. That's what the majority of people seek. Now, in saying that, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with wanting to be rich per se. I'm not saying there's anything wrong. It's a little bit more wrong, but it's not. I want to say it's anything wrong with just wanting people to, the likes and followers stuff. I want millions of people to look at me. I want to be seen as important. Okay, this is versus the people who want to be. You see these people on social media, things of this nature. You maybe even know these people in your lives that you say what you want to do, what do you want to be, whatever, and they say something to the sense of, "I want to be the guru." Now that is something wrong with. Okay, 100%. Psychologically, those type of people should not be the guru. Okay, because it's the same thing. Because pretty much it's a power position. Okay, and most of those people who truly seek those positions end up abusing those positions. Okay, so this goes into anything dealing with politics or any other area. Okay, even doctors. Okay, there's a God complex when it comes to many doctors and things of this nature. So with that, um, let me go back here. So again, majority of people. Let's say if there was 10 people total since 2018. Let's say if it was 20 people, 19 of them wanted fame and or money. Okay. And so, and in all of this, for me anyway, I have my concerns, but for me, it was more so gathering data. I wanted to see what works. I wanted to see what does not work. I wanted to see uh, what does it take for some of the people were women, some of the people were men. It goes both. Okay. Um, what did it take for them to achieve that? How were they? Because I'm collecting data in every way. It's not just when they come or whether it be these conversations we were having, which eventually led to actually equipment being obtained to help with this. Which many of you know the Omnimind, but Omnimind is not the it's like the sixth or seventh iteration of the equipment. Okay, it was equipment beforehand that I was utilizing and messing with and stuff like that. And um, so that studying them, looking at their social media platforms, because I'm looking at all of that. I'm gathering data. I mean, automated programs, pulling data every single day and keeping it in the file, everything. Okay, and again, it's for reasons. You know what I'm saying? My main thing is to see, 'cause I know what is possible. Most people uh, don't ever, most people lack belief, right? And that's biblical as well. Okay, majority of people lack belief. Uh, the heavens could crack right now, and well, I'm going to give that extreme example. Uh, but a lot of people lack belief, right? And so let me continue on here. So there's a few issues that come with one wanting something to the extreme, right? 'Cause we're talking about the extreme here. And so when one really wants something, let me give you some examples. right, of me, my own life, right? And so when I was younger, and I was come on, this is preteen, okay, preteen, teenage years, right? I was going deep into the technology space, right? And this is before, even at that time, maybe AOL just started, and that's American Online. And so back then it was BBS, something like that. You would get on your phone line, even the phone line with AOL too, but phone line, you would connect to, uh, let's say, a computer system, and only like a few people could be on at the same time. You may leave a message or look at messages, download something, whatever, and you get off, kind of thing, right? This is before the internet as we know. Then it turned into the internet itself, but at the same time, that was like AOL time as well. But same thing, you would dial in, and then you'd be on the internet and stuff like that. Much different than where it is today. And so I used to be studying so deeply in it where I would literally go like days. I mean, it'd be like 2 days, 2.5, 3 days with no sleep at all. Completely excited. Now, at that by that third day, I am tired, but but I could force myself to even still stay up and study and stay up and just look at this and stuff and see what was going on, right? That's the type of, now that's an extreme, right? But that's the type, let's just say that's the pinnacle. That's the crown jewel of focus. The closer the person is to that, the better off they would be. Now, in doing that, a person could just manifest it without using any technology or anything like that. If someone goes that hard uh, towards something, that person can move mountains anyway. So you get what I'm saying? So in that case, it's just a matter of time, where that time may be, let's just say you're trying to manifest, let's just say you're doing what you need to do to manifest, let's say $1 million, right? Well, let's just say if we can know exactly how long that would take, let's say it would take you a year and a half from that point. Okay. Well, with the help of the technology and things we've been doing now, it may take you 3 months, 4 months. Okay. So that's like the difference because you're going so hard. So you'll do it anyway, right? And most of these people, because of their work ethic, that's the one thing that, now there are some people who did not every single person who came along turned into even 100,000 there or got more likes and followers at all, because some people did not have the work ethic at all. You get what I'm saying? And it's very easy for me to spot. Think about it, we study behavior. We study behavior deeply. So I may sit there and smile. I may sit there and still do what I do, technology wise, but I know what I'm seeing. You know what I'm saying? I know what's taking place. I know what's taking place within the person. You know what I'm saying? I'm just sitting there, but I'm still going to do what I do, and until the person shows, because that's data in itself, right? So, is somebody saying something? All right. So make sure you keep your phones muted until the time is open here. So I'm going to mute this caller here. All right. So keep your phones muted until it's open. I'm going to make sure I get everything out. Unless you cutting in to say something very specific about what I'm being said, what's being said. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so all right, so we're talking about so not everybody, going back to it. So not everyone um, did it. I would say most didn't, because most people don't have a certain kind of work ethic. All right. And shout out to those of you who have a certain type of work ethic. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you got to stay up for 3, 4 days in a row. I'm not saying that. But just that you understand that if there's something that you want, that you're going to have to work toward it, man. You know what I'm saying? And it may require, you know, you being uncomfortable in some way. You know what I'm saying? Like not necessarily getting as much sleep, not taking vacations, not doing this and not doing that. It doesn't necessarily mean that, but it may require that. Okay, but for one to chase whatever that dream is that they truly want, that is part of the recipe. This is a recipe. You remember, y'all. We cook up dishes, right? So we always cooking up a meal, and this is a meal right now that we're cooking up, and I'm letting you know the ingredients to manifesting, literally. Okay, that is one of the main requirements there. Okay, now how deep that you are with it, or how strong you are in with it, that's going to determine how quickly you can bring it to be or make those moves in the reality that need to be made. Okay, it can't be any. Ideally, it cannot be any hesitation. Ideally, it cannot be any doubt. You know what I'm saying? At all. And we're not talking about religious weirdness. You know what I'm saying? Just to believe. No, no, no. We're talking about you know what's possible. You know, like, okay, if I do ABC, if I keep this, for example, let's say you are learning a language. Well, if I literally do it every single day, eventually I'm going to learn a language. There's nothing to believe in that. You know, this is a matter of you spending the time doing it. If you spend adequate time doing it, eventually it will stick and you will know it. Very simple. Belief is not required with those type of things at all. For those people who tend to go into belief when it comes to these type of things, they tend not to do well with this. Okay, they tend not to manifest. Belief can be very strong, and belief can lead to manifestation. So I just contradicted myself there, right? I said belief. People who tend to do that do not tend to, manifest. But then those who have very strong belief do, in fact, manifest because I'm talking about very strong belief can bring about things that normally would not. It's kind of like it gives you a little bit of an edge. Okay, especially if you're doing the actual work as well, the work ethic to do something. Yeah, so the work ethic may not be as strong, but the belief is through the roof. Oh yeah, that can manifest too. But belief is not necessary at all. One can have zero belief and literally just do the work and it will manifest. You see? So that means that what's more important is the work or the belief. Really, the work is actually more important than just the belief. Okay? One could have 100% belief, but zero work. It's not going to happen, boss. The magic that's in the realm here, the magic is at an all-time low. There's still magic in the realm, but it's at an all-time low. Okay, especially the prison colonies and things like that. And the magic that is tending to be here floating around tends to be a very low level, very low energy kind of magic. You know what I'm saying? Hence why, think about it. Everybody, all day, every day, are just bombarded with fight, flee, feed, or fornication imagery and thought forms all day long. That's all low level stuff. And that's purposeful. It's purposeful. The magicians who do know everything that I'm talking about, because they are metaphysicians as well, okay, they know this, and that's why they keep bombarding people with it. And so people get stuck in that fort. Now, there's nothing wrong with necessarily feeding. There's nothing wrong with it. Okay, we all have to eat, right? But at the same time, one is literally stuck in that where all they do is eat. Okay. Um, it's like, for example, any of you all seen videos of China, for example? So we talked about China in our research group in the past and how uh, Cassandra had asked a question dealing with it's something dealing with bark and trees and things of that nature. And I had mentioned that people would not go to such an extreme. Okay, traditional Chinese medicine, which is a form of herbology, um, is very detailed. Okay, and they consider even like ants, like Polyrhocus ant, which we used to sell on the website, and ants and bark, and even parts of animals, herbs. Okay, and things of this nature, right? Because these people at one point in history, there was such a famine. Now, it was also in other parts of the world too, even here in the Americas, where people were not only selling their children for food, but they were also cannibalizing their children and loved ones and things of this nature. Okay, and so very similar was happening over in Asia, and with that, they were eating literally everything. And so you see the remnants of this within the consciousness by looking at videos. I mean, these are recent videos, it's not old stuff, okay? Where you see, like on YouTube, like when there's a buffet or when there's any food involved that's open for them to get themselves. A lot of Chinese people go to the extreme where they will literally jump over counters, they will push people out the way and grab all the food and walk away with it. So let's say you have plates in front of you, like this is a buffet. They will scoop 3, 4 plates. Each person would do. We talking about a little woman, a little man. You're not gonna eat all that food. With 100% fact, they're not gonna eat that food. Okay, they will put as much food as they can on a plate. It's spilling over. just to have it all there and then go sit down, eat a few pieces of it, and walk away from it. This is a known thing. And so obviously there's some type of mental thing going on there, but this is amongst a lot of the Chinese populace. They do this. Okay. So so again, that's being stuck in that feeding, even if there was legitimate reason maybe to be that way at a time. You know what I'm saying? But so fight, of course, we see all this fight stuff, war stuff, everything else. Feed, okay, fleeing, wanna run away. People want to go to other countries, always go on vacation. There's nothing wrong with going to other countries now. Again, don't get it twisted. So please make sure you're listening to what I'm saying. If you're taking offense, please don't take offense. I'm saying if there's a question, ask that question. There's nothing wrong with going on vacation. There's nothing wrong with relaxing. There's nothing wrong with any of that. It just is based on context here. Okay. And so with that, everybody wants to flee and run somewhere. There's nowhere to run, yo. Straight up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm telling you as a person who studied, I studied geopolitics. I mean, you all know how I am. I don't have to. Everybody here on the line pretty much has been around, knows what we do. I studied geopolitics, studied all this stuff, and do it very detailed. And have been doing it for years. Okay. Yes, there's places to go. Don't get it twisted. There's places to go if it came down to the come down, but majority of people would not want to go to those places, really including myself. Okay, so so there's nowhere to run. You know what I'm saying? And so people have to deal with the doo doo that they keep that they're literally creating, even if the creation is happening within their subconscious. That they because of the stuff they keep um, joining themselves to and watching and things of this nature. Who cares what Charleston White? We always listen. Charleston White come on and do. Sometimes it's interesting. Don't get it twisted. It's interesting at times, but who cares what this dude's saying? There's more important things to think about and to be about in the world around us. You know what I'm saying? Who cares what any of these people have to say? Okay, but yet most people do, and that's the problem. All right, because we are quantum conscious creators, literally. All right, and so because of that. People are quantumly, consciously, subconsciously creating a lot of the things we have around us. And I say shout out to the Sith and the dark metaphysicians and things like that because they even put out in books and things of this nature that they were going to do these things and how they do them, and people just keep falling for the same okey doke over and over again. Okay, so anyhow, moving past it. So I said all that to say focus is extremely important. That's pretty much the point of all that. And that's how important it is. That's why I focused on it. Focus is so important. Like, for example, even in this call right now, there's supposed to be about at least 10 to 15 more people on this call that are members. Okay. They confirmed it, but yet they're now on this line because more than likely they're going to do what they always do. They're going to text or call me afterward. Now, this is going to be up on the Patreon afterward. So for you all can review this again. But they're gonna call the text afterward and say, "Oh man, I missed the call for XYZ reason." Like the other 40,000 times they have said that. And that's just that, right? Lack of focus. Okay. And so if you really want to hear something, if you really want to be about something, really want to do something, people who really do want to do something, they do it. That's also where one has to realize when one really wants to do something, they actually do it. When one really wants to make certain moves and do certain things, they do it. Now we do know at times money is a makes factors limiting, especially when there's in the towns that we're in now, there's a controlling factor, a controlling mechanism that's above people that is purposely limiting their financial expression. We know this, right? It's obvious. We see it, right? So yes, that will limit certain types of expression. But regardless of that, in many cases, there are things that we can do. Like if there's a list of things we have to do, some of those things within those things don't require a lot of, it may require very little or no financial expression. And those are those things we should do. So at least that's done, right? That's showing a bit of focus. And when you're doing that, this goes into the universal laws and the art of exchange. And the universe is based on exchange. So this deals with, and many of you have seen the video of the universal laws that was what last year. So, so when it comes to that, we know that we have to show not only ourselves, but we have to show the universe around us that uh, because of the way this place works and truly understand it's not about belief system. This place works a certain way. Okay. So it's because it works a certain way, let me do what I need to do so that the exchange factor can start revving up a little bit so I can get something back out of it. Yes, in times of extreme issues of some sort, there may be less exchange where you have to do much more. So let me give you an example of this. Back in the day, when it came to YouTube, once YouTube was purchased from, I forgot the dude's name it was purchased from, but when it's purchased from that person, and they started to add ads and all kind of other things, one could literally just post damn near a video a month, and you're getting paid a decent amount of money for just a video a month. That's it, right? Then it turned to, and now many more people started to get on the platform, right? And from that point, now competition is rising, right? And now it went from, okay, now you have to do a video a week. Then it went from that to now you want to do a video at least this more than once per week. Okay, more than once per week to get a large amount of return on that exchange, right? And this again, this is not everything that man does. Let's say is a mimic in many cases of or a bastardization of what the universe does. Okay, and so the universe works slightly different, but I'm just giving you just a more of a easy to see scenario here, right? So so it went from that to now a few times a week. Then it went from that to a few times a day. You all notice at this point, now this stuff may be very entertaining and you may be learning a lot, whatever it may be. But you notice a lot of these cats now, your favorite YouTubers are putting out like multiple videos all day, every day. It's like, damn, I get another notification. Now look at it, it's like this dude just put out a video like an hour ago. And now he put out another video. Do you know how crazy that is? And they do this all day, every single day. Now, in doing that, yes, if you're willing to compete at that level, but you can't do anything else. Don't get it twisted. These people showing themselves doing all they ain't doing all that. And to do that, how much time that takes, even with help on the back end. Oh no, they doing this is what they do all day, every day. They don't do anything else. Okay, this is literally it consumes up 12-hour days every single day. But in doing so, yes, their likes and followers go up dramatically. They're getting paid probably somewhat decent amount. Now, what ends up happening now, what YouTube did, is because now a lot of people, of course, 'cause I think many of us all on YouTube, we all watching stuff, you know what I'm saying, including myself. Okay. And and in that, uh, because now there's so much competition, because think of how many notifications all of us get. I'm sure all of you get tons of notifications like I do too, right? And so now they have because it can only go so far, right? And due to also the financial constraints that are being put on by the same groups at that, they know where people are going to try to make money. And so because of that, they just now are starting to limit the amount of pay. Okay. And there's many YouTubers even saying these things now. How, wow, man, I used to make four grand a month. Well, you should have stacked that. But again, people dealing with ego, they want to, fancy cars and big houses. And I get it. I understand. You know what I'm saying? I truly understand. Okay. And this is no judgment from that angle because I do truly understand that. But at the same time, well, it possibly not gonna last forever, and they should have visited the Meta Center, and they could have got some advice on maybe at least somewhat what to do that would help them out in the longevity of their life. But with that, many of them have complained they was making $4,000 a month, and then within 1 month, they was making $4,000 a month for over a year and a half, and then from that point, it has dropped down to like less than 1,000. They said pretty much it doesn't hover at that. It's like around 800. So they went from they still putting out videos, and in fact, the person even said it was a woman at that. She said that she's putting out even more videos. She's been putting out even more than what she did when she was making 4 grand a month. This is back in 2022, 2023. Okay, and now she's having a hard time breaking even $800. right? And so with that, so they're limiting the exchange factor due to how many people are doing it. And many we see many other areas doing this too. We see Uber doing this. We see many other places doing this as well. That's why many of you heard me say in many cases, yes, everybody wants to live alone and do this and do that. If one has it like that, then fantastic. But some type of roommate communal situation is going to be in many people's futures because it's not going to be a choice but to do that. Okay, women have it a little bit better because the system itself, uh, uh, due to the way the creation of the system is by those who are behind the system itself, uh, caters to and protects women. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with catering to and protecting women, but this is what it does. Okay, and it does not do that for men. This is why it doesn't take much for a woman to get aid. Okay, so women can get aid pretty easy. For men, they give men the ringer if a man needs aid. Okay, literally. Okay, that's why you see many more men on the street than you see compared to women. Okay, you can even look up in your city, for example, amount of shelters. You will see for every one man shelter, you probably see a dozen women shelters. Even though men actually built the system and everything else, well, why won't men take care of men? Because there's something behind the scenes, very metaphysical in nature, and men are used as drones or raw to be thrown away. And we've had these conversations in past events. Okay, but so let's go deeper here. So this is actually going to go longer than I actually thought. So I think I was going to get into it, give y'all a two piece and a biscuit, and get on my way. Right. But this looks like it's about to be a full course meal like we had at the event last week. You know what I'm saying? So y'all about to, you know, y'all about to have y'all greens and y'all dressing and everything else. Gonna make sure our boy bring that Louisiana sauce for you and that Tabasco sauce because I know how y'all like to get down, right? And so let's continue on here, right? So we talked about focus and we talked about ego, right? Egos, again, this is again part of the recipe, right? Recipe needs focus. So one of the parts you're putting in is focus, other part you're putting in is ego. Okay. They are close, but they are a little bit different. So so now kind of getting around that a little bit. So here's a statement here. If not if not strict on what you are doing, then your struggles will become ingrained. So, especially when it comes to, and we know this is, we can say this is rules for life in general, right? But this is especially when it comes to what we do, okay, and what has been done over the years. People got demons, man. You know what I'm saying? For real. Literally, okay? Demons, it has a certain, some demons got certain smells, and it does come out the person. Some people, some demons have certain looks, facial expressions. Now, when I'm telling you, it's not belief. This is fact. And I've been studying this for a long time. Okay, and studying people and seeing uh, their ambitions and what they want. And of course, I'm asking questions because for those people, could there have been people? We having consultations, and I'm helping them get themselves proper for the manifestation, right? And some things are just very, very obvious, right? But with that, if one does not get their struggles in order or what they're struggling with, it leads to that manifesting as well. So as their focus grows and as their manifestation becomes clearer, also what's growing, becoming clearer is the struggle or demon within. Struggle does not mean demon, but in many cases it is a demon. You know what I'm saying? Literally, you know what I'm saying? And so they both grow. Okay, so that's just that, right? Uh, of course, people have different wants and needs. Focus, of course, is. I'm reading some of my one-liners here that I've written down. I just want to make sure, just in case it triggers something. Focus is absolutely necessary, which cannot be faked. You cannot. Some people try to fake focus. When I explain to them the type of focus that I'm talking, because I've lived it. I've had that focus. Now I'm so busy doing what I do. I actually wish I could focus on one singular thing like I did when I was young. Okay, and especially if you got young ones, man, you need to let them know, like, especially if you are, I mean, you're taking care of them, and only thing you have to do is just focus. Oh, some way you gotta tell them they better utilize the time. And it's not about focusing necessarily on what you want them to focus on. Is there anything that they truly like? Oh, I like music. Okay, what do you like about music? Whether it be making beats, whether it be playing an instrument, you have them go in it, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I noticed that majority of people that I've come across that have had the type of focus that I'm talking about that I had, okay, majority of the time it was in their youth, majority of the time. Because when it gets older, bills happen and things of that nature. Now, another time it happens is if one is in communal living. Like one person, she lived, this is one of the people who went from the projects, literally living in the projects in the hood for real. Me, I used to talk to somebody on the phone, you hear gunshots going off and everything, okay? Uh, every time we on the phone in the evening time. You know what I'm saying? And she went from that to, big house and all kind of other stuff, right? A bit unbalanced, and everything else. And some of you all, I'm not gonna say her name or anything like that, but some of you all do know who I'm talking about. But with that, let's see here. What am I gonna say with that? Mm, 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 mm. Something I was gonna say with that. Give me a moment here. It may come back to me here. In the service, yeah. Um,
Hey, breathe, Tony. We ain't going nowhere.
yeah, yep, yep. Thanks, David. Yeah. So, oh yeah. So this was it deals back with focus, right? And so that type of focus, again, this person had that type of focus. And the difference is that this person was older, right? So this person at that time was upper 20s. Okay, yeah, about upper 20s she was, and how she was she was talented. So again, a talent, no matter what that talent is, can be amplified. Okay, and how she was able to do that is because she can pretty much live a communal life. She lives in the hood. She had pretty much a whole damn family, which was mostly all women. Okay, it was no man around. Actually, there was no man around at all. You know what I'm saying? It was all women. Okay, just all around, but they all lived together and stuff like that, everything else, right? So it kind of allowed her to do what she needed to do, as if like kind of like that the children or the young person example of their parents taking care of them, but they could do anything they want to do. So it was kind of like that scenario. So now that can happen for many adults if one could lessen. Think about, we could all bring in, whatever you're bringing in to take care of what you need to take care of, but you live in such a situation where you don't have to even think about the bills because, let's say, it's a communal situation or a roommate situation, where it may be, where things are so much lower, let's say bill wise, where it just allows you you could spend, now you don't have to spend as much time if you don't want to just chasing money. You can actually spend it going super focused into things, studying, whatever you need to do, right? That, again, that brings about that. So that's another way to do that in your adulthood for majority of people. Unless the person is well off. If this person is well off, they got things coming in such a way that they could just float around like that, then that's absolutely fantastic. You know what I'm saying? But most people don't have it like that. They're trying to get it like that. And it's difficult to do if every single moment you have to chase the dollar, because you literally have to chase the dollar because of the bills and everything else. You know what I'm saying? And so that
Hey,
doesn't leave
Tony,
time. Yes. Uh-huh.
you mind if I add on to that real quick?
Go ahead.
Yeah, so exactly what you're saying. A lot of people that's not from this country, like that's exactly what they'll do. Like they do a lot of communal living. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like it frees up a lot of the resources so you could do more. It allows you to take more risks.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
So yeah.
Yep. Thank you for the add in. Yep. So what he said there was 100% spot on. And of course, here you even see that here in America, especially with South Americans, but other races of people do it too as well. Many times, not necessarily even due to want, but it's a lot of times due to necessity. They all, get a house together, and everything else will happen. And then from that point, because now all of them are working and do what they're doing, no one necessarily is, let's say, sitting on their butt. Everybody's out there working, stuff like that. But because of that, it allows more leisure time because of that. You know what I'm saying? So, uh, what else here? So, one moment here. So, yeah, I need to change that. One moment here, y'all. One moment. Got to plug up phones and everything. So, one moment here. All right. So, uh, time here. What do I need to do with that? Okay. Yeah. So that's just that with that. All right. So next here. Uh, Sometime, in some cases, some people have been, many more times than not. You all may even heard me on podcasts say these things, but I don't really do it too much anymore because too many people are in the sunken place. And for the most part, they want to hear me anyway. But I used to say, hey, come through. You could just, services. Many people I have offered services for free or an extreme discount and stuff like that because it's supposedly what they want, supposedly what they're trying to move toward, and they literally don't do it for whatever reason. One, they may not value at all me or the medicine that is possible. My ego is not so much up my butt that I cannot think that's possible. Okay. Or number two, they're in the sunken place to the point where someone is right there who has a track record of helping people. So it's very well known, and they so much in the sunken place they can't even hear me anyway. Okay. Uh, some people have ego, some people have anger, some people have jealousy and envy. But whatever the reasons why, literally me seeing some people's challenges, knowing that what this can do, proven fact, this and that, which will help them get out their challenge, and they don't. You all will be surprised how many people don't. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of odd, actually. You know what I'm saying? But yet they will still complain. Yet they go deep into the sunken place. Yet they would take other types of risk in the world around us, which jeopardizes their life. You know what I'm saying? Or their freedom, and only they have to do is just stop in the medicine, literally. It's quite strange, but even that's a data point, though. Okay, see, all data is good as long as it's coming pure. It's not tainted data. All data is good. Okay, so that's another data point to take in and say, that's interesting, and put that in the data for later. So next, okay, so we talked about again. The recipe includes work ethic, which is the focus, and ego. The next thing is Omnimind sessions at this point, which are what I call Omnimind. In the past, I didn't have no name for it. You know what I'm saying? So with Omnimind sessions. Now, this is the requirement for Omnimind. Most of you all have been getting one of two things. You have been getting either focus or um, or relaxation. That's been pretty much the main two things you've been given. Not everyone at all have done meditation at all because now I got to the point of knowing exactly what it takes to manifest to the extreme. And the one thing is consistency. So it's not just consistency in one's own life when it comes to, again, I explain all of it, right? You know what I'm saying? The focus and everything else, but it becomes consistent with the sessions. Okay. So most of you all, for example, live not in Chicago. Okay. So you come into the medicine center every month, which is required for manifestation. One day a month is okay. Ideally, 2 days a month, every month. Okay. Bare minimum, right? Because that's the sweet spot I see that has allowed people to manifest majorly most of the time within about 3, 4 months. 3, 4 months. Within that period of time, something starts to happen again, it ranges from person to person, okay? Because some people want, most people want money in status, okay? But something of that nature happens typically within that period of time, right? And then of course they're still getting sessions and things of this nature as they amplify, because they starting to see things come to fruition, and it's right there in their grasp, like a finger length away, and so they go even harder, right? And so with that, uh, minimum one, ideally two sessions per month, right? Along with that's the third. So Omnimind session, and then the fourth thing is consultations, which most people have anyways. Is us talking about whatever we need to talk about. But the going back to the Omnimind sessions, so there's requirements with that, right? So of course, as I mentioned, one or two times per month. Uh, or more if they could do that. You know what I'm saying? Every month, just period, right? But one of the requirements is because when the manifestation happens and as you're going deep into the manifestation, is for you to give back to the medicine, right? Because this allows uh, me to continue to do what I do. You know what I'm saying? It allows me to. In whatever direction that I choose to do, most of the time, listen, person. Some people do have some very specific. I want you to bring about this, and that's fine. You know what I'm saying? But allow me to do what needs to be done. And so, so whether it be, equipment, whatever it goes to. But what ends up happening in those, because out of, let's say, 20 people, not all of them even got to the point of manifesting at all because they didn't have the work ethic or whatever it may be. Okay. Or they could not come to, something happened where they just could not do it. Right. And so that disqualified them from doing it. So, the sort of small number of people who actually did everything exactly as required. Now, within those amount of people, you had two groups. One group was, let's say, those who understood and they give back in some way as they can, right? Whether it be maybe getting equipment, whether it be maybe just donations, whatever it may be. Okay. And the other group went into extreme demon time. Okay, where ego went through the roof. And I'm going to twist it. It was seen, but it becomes where, again, this is a data thing, and I have to do because I'm testing equipment, I'm doing everything I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? So I have to, regardless of what I see taking place. In this case, this is where belief comes in, where I hope for the best because I cannot control anyone, right? And I hope that they will make certain decisions that are more balanced. Okay, but in most cases, let me tell you, they don't. Hence why, uh, as of September 1st, there's no more new clients for Omnimon. That's why that actually came about. Because it's just too many people in demon time, and I have enough data at this point. So at this point, I have enough data, so I don't need to deal with that. Okay, I don't have to deal with people. Again, the money, the fame, that doesn't. It's neither here nor there. But all of those things, behavior-wise, are saying something now. Like I said, don't get it twisted. I'm watching because it's a demon or something floating around in there, right? But again, I just hope for the best. But in the exchange here, I'm getting data. So even if a person does flip out, okay, I'm getting the data I need, and that's just that. And some other things are taking place, and so that's just that. But unfortunately, majority were on demon time. Okay, and so because of that, is it just led to me now pulling certain things. That's why they say, right? You know, that's why humanity, in a way, I started to a few weeks ago, just due to going so deep into behavior. I had mentioned I didn't get into it too much. Actually, I didn't get into it, I don't think at all in the session because it didn't come up. We were talking about so many other things during our Superhuman 2024 last week or so. But I said I was going to talk about I became enlightened. Okay, and which is not for this phone call. But I will say this: that again, people become enlightened. You can become enlightened multiple times in your lifetime. You know what I'm saying, depending upon what you're doing. And we have been going so deep into the mind, so deep into behavior and psychology from utilizing metaphysics in it. You know, so now it's not just about going deep into behavior; it's about the metaphysics of behavior. Things are saying so combining these things and getting deeper insight and so forth. That I literally became enlightened, and where only I could go was go, huh? Like, and all types of visions were hitting my going within my mind and circling. I'm seeing all this imagery and everything else. It was absolutely beautiful. Even still to right now, it's still happening because of the revelations of people, of places, of things. Of again, it doesn't matter what it is. You know what I'm saying? Because anything that can give off a behavior kind of thing is just watching. Even in just animals, you know what I'm saying? Going to the zoo and just watching the gorilla sit there, and me and the gorilla just staring at each other, or me and the lion just staring at each other. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sitting here just gaining information that in a way that I feel anyway for me is very profound. You know what I'm saying? That I didn't look at it a certain way before. You know what I'm saying? And so this is the same thing's been happening with people. You know what I'm saying? Just been looking and in this I gain understanding of why certain information at this point cannot be let out when it comes to where those who are in certain places that do have certain kinds of information, why they just kind of trickle it out. Even though there may be those in the populace individually who can handle just a major dump of the most profound truths that this reality could give. They could truly handle it individually. But as a collective, oh, hell to the no. You know, so if I have my system hooked up here, y'all hear it right now. Hell no. No, 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 right now. Straight up, because no. Collectively, no, not at all. People on Demon Time, people tweeting, you know what I'm saying? So they have to laugh because it's so ridiculous because it does not have to be that way. But that goes into conversations dealing with clones, dealing with grafted beings, literally clone beings, grafted beings, beings who are more like uh, cheroms and other creations. Uh, people have messed up blood from mixing with people they should never mix with. All type of stuff is going on here. You know what I'm saying? And so because of that, oh no, this information, but channels like we talked about, like the YouTube channel, others like that, which I think is some type of disclosure channel that we talked about in 2020, Superhuman 2024, a week or so ago. But other channels like that and things like, there's other spaces over the internet that people give out certain information that, hits really hard as truth, right? And kind of clears the way. These things are happening, but again, it's all being trickled out. And there are people trying to figure out things as well who are just us, right? Just regular people, let's say. Okay. So with that, the dish has four parts. Okay, it has again the focus, which I would say is probably one of the most important. Okay, that extreme focus, right? To do whatever it is you need to do, and it's no matter what it is. It doesn't matter what it is. You know what I'm saying? Even though most of the people have come for money or fame, okay, and that gets old. You know what I'm saying? But I get it though. Don't get it twisted. I get it. Okay, the money could bring freedom. Fame is most definitely more ego, okay? But I don't judge, you know what I'm saying? Because it's all data for me. All right. Um, but so focus is extreme. It needs to be there. It's an extreme component that's required. The ego goes with that because typically every person that I've seen who really was going hard, they all had ego. Some to the extreme. You know what I'm saying? Where we were even butt heads a bit. You know what I'm saying? Because they will you know, because of their ego, they think they could just say or do anything. And many of you know, I'm not going to allow that to happen. You know what I'm saying? But that's what ego does. And I get it. You know what I'm saying? I get it. Uh, Again, the next is the Omnimind sessions. Okay. Omnimind sessions, again, we talking about, this is all talking about manifestation, y'all. That's what we're talking about here, right? Now, for focus, for those who cannot meet those requirements, where your life is kind of all over the place, then you automatically disqualify for manifestation because your life is all over the place. You know what I'm saying? If we have conversations, for example, and in our conversations, if you heard me like, man, you got to focus some more, man, or something like that, then manifestation is not for you either. Not at this time, because you're not focusing enough. Okay, you have to be to focus well past the point where you're currently at as we're speaking right now today. Now tomorrow it may be different, but right now as we're speaking, if that fits you, then you would not be qualified for manifestation, and it'd be known within a very short period of time. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm looking at you, I'll be studying you, so it's gonna happen in a very short period of time. You know what I'm saying? It's obvious because certain things happen at a certain pace, and the moment the first say the first door rings, first door knock, and you're unable to do what needs to be done, you automatically disqualifying yourself. You know what I'm saying? So, but if you ever heard me say anything like that to you, where you need to focus, kind of like your mind's all over the place, kind of thing, everything else, it's not that you're a bad person. It has nothing to do with about being a bad or good person. There's nothing to do with it that you can't do things. It's just that when it comes to specifically what we're talking about here with the Omnimind and manifestation, how other people are getting, millions and or becoming famous, everything else. No, you're not going to be able to do that using our resources because your focus is not there. And at this point, I know exactly what it takes. It's no guesswork at this point. It's not a belief. Okay, I've been studying it. I have the data. I know for a fact. Okay, so so that mind needs to get focused. Uh, in many cases, the drugs and things mess people up. The drinking messes people up. If one has those habits, is no. We're not talking about people like to turn up at least every once in a while, something like that. Again, I don't judge kind of thing, but if it's more than every blue moon kind of thing, okay. People say blue moon because blue moons are rare, and when they come into play, like we have a few blue moons coming up. When they come into play, they're talking about a cycle, in a way. Like we're going from one age, like we're in the age of what's called Horus, for example. Some people call say that like we're going into the age of Aquarius, things like that. But from an Egyptian perspective, we're going into the age of going. Okay, and certain tribulations and things happen. It deals with the white and red dragon. Both of them are not necessarily what you want, but one thing is a battle between the white and red, and the red time is over. Now it's time for the white. And this goes deep. It goes deep. It deals with the constellation of Orion, which has a planet in it called Betelgeuse. Hence, now all of a sudden Beetlejuice is coming back in theaters, which is you know everything's for a reason. And then on top of that, um, if you even look, I'm going to pull up here so you can actually see this for yourself. Beetlejuice, of course, when you look up the IMDb of Beetlejuice, uh, it says Beetlejuice, like how you think Beetlejuice, right? Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, right? But then when you look at the actor, you would think that the actor who played Beetlejuice, it would say, the name of the actor in Beetlejuice, like it says, right? But no, it actually is spelled like the planet Beetle. Like it's actually pronounced. People say Beetlejuice, but it's actually pronounced like Betelgeuse or something like that. It's spelled like the planet. Why would they spell it like the planet for? Because this is much deeper than many of us know. And I most definitely don't have all the answers at all. So that's why if I had all the answers, I wouldn't be buying books still and doing all that I do. You know what I'm saying? So it's most definitely deep, way deeper. Let me show you all right here, so you can see it for your own self right here. One moment here. Ah, I'm about to show y'all on the screen here. Let's go to it. All right, I'm about to share my screen here. And so, for example, you can see this for yourself here. All right, so you see my screen there, of course, right? I'm sharing that there. Let's see something here. Okay, so you see there on the screen. Okay, so Beetlejuice, right? Came out in 1988, right? This is all coming back in popularity now because of what's taking place celestially above us. But then when you go here, of course, Why is Michael Keaton, who played Beetlejuice, why is it spelled like this? You see? It's not supposed to be spelled like that unless that's purposeful because this is not dealing with Beetlejuice or something comically. Oh, this is a funny movie. Yeah, no, no, no. This is actually an interplay dealing with constellations, deeply metaphysical, dealing with constellations, things to come about around us, and so on and so forth. Okay, so let's even Google some people. Some of you don't know what this is. So let's Google this so you all can see. This is call it Beetlejuice for now because I don't uh, know the exact how to pronounce it right now. Anyway, so it is a red supergiant star in the constellation of Orion. It is usually the 10th brightest star in the night sky, and after Rigel, the second brightest in this constellation. Okay, and this star or planet is huge. So I think when you compare it to Earth, it's like 500 times bigger than when you compare it to our sun, because our sun is